you. I say, Barrington, good news.
More action, sir?
Better than that, my entry's been accepted for the Monte.
Oh, whiz, sir.
You realize that when I become a millionaire, there'll always be a job for you, at my side.
Thank you, sir.
In a junior capacity, of course.
Of course, sir.
I think you know the toast.
I think so, sir. The toast is the Monte Carlo Rally.
The Monte.
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 The Monte. The Monte.
It is DrH, the Cryptopractor, and these glasses are awful. Anyway, good to see you all. It is just an ad hoc stream, and I hear that you guys can hear me, so I no longer need these. So welcome, Monte Carlo or bust. Now, I haven't been streaming recently because, as I said, I'm going to be doing them ad hoc. So if you do enjoy this material that I do share with you, and we have some corking, powerful news today. We're talking about Just Tip 4X, the Monte Carlo wallet. We'll come to that at the end. But also I have some super juicy news on the subject of advantages and disadvantages of living in Monaco. Now, if you're new to the stream, if you're new to crypto, welcome. Come on in, take up a seat in your Lamborghini. We're going to the casino. But what would the premise of this show is really simple, and I'm going to share it with you right now.
The premise of Monte Carlo or bust is that we are taking $1,000 and turning it into some real estate in Monte Carlo. Now, the experiment started on the 12th of September 2024 as edutainment, not advice. I show you my investment strategy for beginners in action. For context, to buy a car parking space in Monaco costs 290,000 euros. Or $315,000, and a 2-room apartment will set you back 2.1 million euros or 2.3 million US dollars. So let's get going right now.
Okay, guys, and I am just sharing the show now on X. So if you're enjoying this, if you're on the replay, then put some comments down below. If you are in the chat, then just throw some comments at me. It's always good to hear from you. It's always nice and it's always encouraging. And also, if you have any questions, I will endeavor to get answers for you. Okay, so today's show, we're going to really talk about advantages and disadvantages of living in Monaco, but it doesn't just apply to Monaco. Now, this is usually for, obviously, this show is for crypto beginners. Monte Carlo or bust is crypto investing strategies for beginners in action. So I'm going to actually show you what I'm doing, so you can share the journey. And it is as always not financial advice.
Are you not entertained?
And just for those guys that are thinking of spending $20 or $30 going to see Gladiator 2, I saw it on Thursday. It is epic, but there is no story. It jumps all over the place. Obviously, it's your money. You invest it however you want. I would probably wait for it to come out on some platform because it doesn't come close to the first one. But anyway, so it's edutainment only, not crypto investing strategies. Sorry, not crypto advice. Okay, so right, the main piece I'm going to talk about today, and I just wanted to get out and share some stuff with you. I do have a small gap, but I am super busy still today, getting ready for next week. Obviously we're going to look at to see what's happening in the ecosystem that I enjoy. For those of you new to crypto, there's all sorts of things around. Most people have heard of Bitcoin. The cousin to Bitcoin is Ethereum, and both of those have been around for quite some time. I personally love and enjoy the Pulse chain ecosystem with Hex, PulseX, and Hex, and I do invest in them in all transparency. I don't shield any other coins. I don't even shield those coins. I just mention them as passing. And I use them as examples because most of the decentralized crypto principles, what I mean by that is, in other words, there's no middleman. Those principles that encourage no middlemen in your value exchange. So in other words, you do work, you make money of some sort, and you want to exchange that value with other people for other things. A bit like in the old days it was bartering, but nowadays we can do it online through crypto and with no government middleman or indeed bank middlemen. So if you find a great crypto protocol, then you know that you are on your way to doing that sort of stuff and applying those principles. Okay, anyway, enough of that silliness. Let's get on to the main part of the show. And today we're talking about what are some of the advantages and disadvantages of living in a place like Monaco. Now, it doesn't have to be Monaco. People in the US, a lot of them think about going to a part of the US which has very liberal crypto laws. So that's Puerto Rico. Sorry, got to not make sure I don't get that confused with the other Rico. So Puerto Rico, there is a lot of my colleagues in my community that live down there. There is a super important thing you need to take into account with living there specifically. I know that this is something to take into account, but also living anywhere. And this is the big juicy powerful news right at the end. We're only going to be about 20 minutes. So let's dive into the first part. So I'm just going to work out how to share this one. There we go. Now, a big thank you to Cora and John Anderson, in particular, professional travel editor, worked in Interpol. Well, there you go. That's interesting. So to answer why you would live in Monaco. So first of all, we're going to cover why you want to live in Monaco. So he says, number one, to avoid tax. Number two, it's safe. Number three, the climate is decent. Number four, it's surrounded by one of the most beautiful regions of the world you could imagine, so you can easily escape into the real south of France. Now, for those of you who don't know, Monaco, small principality, is literally 0.8 of a square mile. It's no bigger than that, so it's tiny. It's its own independent state. It's very close to the border of Italy. It's within France. On three sides, it has France. On the other side, it has the Mediterranean. So that's what he's saying. You can get into the real south of France. Very close to Nice, beautiful city in France. Very close to the border in Italy, as already mentioned. So there's the Alps there. Skiing's very close. And there's a number of fairly simple reasons as to why you wouldn't want to live in Monaco. Tremendously overcrowded. The whole principality is about 3 kilometers across and 1 kilometer deep. There are blocks of flats everywhere you look. It's unbelievable how many apartment blocks have been crowded into such a small area of land. It's home to around 30,000 inhabitants. It's estimated, I think, between 36 and 43. I think that changes depending on seasons. And in here, John says, although I'd estimate that at least 10,000 of these are away from Monaco at any particular time because they don't actually want to live there. They just want to do their personal banking there. There is a requirement to reside there. I think it's 6 months and a day per year in order to call yourself a resident. On the previous show that I did, if you check that out, I talk about what you actually need to do to become a resident. It's pretty straightforward and simple. You just need to have a bunch of cash. So this means that despite being extraordinarily wealthy, people live in small apartments that don't really have any living space at all. Now, I don't know if you saw on the premise, but I think it was $2.3 million buys you a 2-room apartment in Monaco. And that didn't even specify whether it's 2 bedrooms. I personally think it's probably 2 rooms. So it's probably a studio apartment, $2.3 million US. Okay. My only conclusion is that many people who come here love money so much they prefer to have more in the bank and live in a tiny apartment. I've never actually asked people why they chose to live here, so there may be other business advantages, but I'm pretty sure that people would choose to live elsewhere were it not for the financial advantage Monaco can offer people once they've achieved an extremely high level of wealth. Well, of course, so sounds like the guy lives there, so that's even better. Now, back in the late 1800s, Princess Carolina actually passed a few laws. She made gambling in Monte Carlo casino became the big thing. So that's where their main source of income was then. And then a few years later, she abolished income tax. So obviously that is the thing that attracts people to Monaco, the wealthy anyway. There's no real sense of community or belonging here. There is an A-list to some extent, but that's a fairly shallow sense of community. Many reasonably intelligent people seem to lack any real meaning in their lives as they have no resistance in their day-to-day lives and don't really gain a sense of purpose or achievement. That's pretty deep. I like that. This leads them to focus on trivial, pointless things. It says you are surrounded by the trappings of wealth so much that all status symbols become what they really are, irrelevant and a bit stupid. So yeah, he is a philosopher. I literally see at least 30 Ferraris or Lambos every day. You're surrounded by garish jewelry stores and designers. It's status obsessed, and yet you can't get any real status through material possessions here because everyone is so wealthy. It's a bizarre paradox. If I had a Ferrari and wanted to show it off, Monaco is the last place I'd come because everyone seems to have one. I'd go somewhere normal where I'd actually be seen as a badass or elite if I wanted to show off. The wealthy people who do come here are a particular set of people by and large, although everyone's situation and reasons for going to Monaco is different. There is a certain type of inevitability lives here. You don't find many young people, artistic or creative types, or even many young entrepreneurs, although there are a few knocking around. It's pretty much exclusively the domain of the globally rich, and then people like me come in to provide certain services to the market here. I'm fortunate in the sense that my work brings me into contact with people who have some deeper values, but the overwhelming mentality here is fairly shallow. It would seem to revolve around status and meaningless luxury. Okay, so there you go. So that's kind of cool. The dude has got a pretty deep philosophy as well as just being a writer and author. So thanks very much, John Anderson. Big shout out to you, man. That was a great article. Okay, so we're going to stop sharing that. We're back to StreamYards. Now, so that's a couple of reasons of why you do and don't want to live in Monaco. I'm going to give you my own spin-off. I'm from Europe. I've been to Monaco some years ago. In fact, many years ago when I was a young degenerate, and I went to the casino and didn't win anything because I was way too drunk. But anyway, that is a completely different story, and that was a lifetime ago. And they've got a pretty impressive palace there. You know, you might want to visit. They've got the Monte Carlo rally. They seem to have events. It's very event driven. There seems to be ongoing events constantly there. It's almost like a venue, like an event venue, like a hotel or a complex. So Nice is beautiful. There are loads of beautiful villages around there. And like I say, you could go to Italy. So you'd need to speak Italian or French. So that would be something you'd have to consider. If you didn't speak those, then I'm sure you wouldn't struggle. You'd find a British speaking community or an English speaking community if you're an English speaker. And obviously there's lots of places you can travel from there. Now, the big juicy thing that I was going to talk about at the end. Actually, let's go on to the Monte Carlo wallet. So let's see how we're doing so far. And I'll talk about the strategy that we're employing so far as well. All right, big shout out to the chat, Archie S. All right, there we go. Archie S did the same as me. Well, man, I was backpacking, interrailing. So actually, you guys, you younger people, if you want to get around Europe pretty inexpensively, you can do the Interrail, which is a ticket that takes you around Europe. Now they keep changing the rules because obviously they keep reeling in on what it was. But when I bought one, you could go all around Europe. I ended up going Czechoslovakia, close to Poland, now the Czech Republic, of course. Could have gone to Poland, went to Hungary. Yeah, so you can travel around. I was sleeping on a luggage rack, but that's something else. That's to save money, so we could drink more. There's me and a drinking buddy from the Navy. Archie asked, great question. Thanks, Archie. Is Nice a better option? Nice is beautiful, as I just mentioned. You don't get the tax advantages, though, and that's the main reason people go to Monaco. I'm sure it's probably many of them just have they probably have a car parking space in Monte Carlo, and they probably have a proper house in Nice. And of course, you have more land. You can. My daughter was there recently. She's a big soccer player, so she was there, and she stayed at a beautiful farmhouse. So so if you want that sort of lifestyle, that's definitely and that's the thing. It's what you want out of life. As John so eloquently said there, there's a lot of shallowness just when you start living there. But it's not just Monaco. So there's other areas as well. I mean, Portugal used to be, and don't take any of this advice. You need to definitely do your research on this because it keeps changing. But Portugal was a great place to go. I've never been to Portugal, although I've been to Spain loads when I was in England. Spain, France, loads. But I would love to visit, see what it's all about. And here's the juicy new news I was saving till last. Actually, it isn't, because let's go to the wallet. Sorry, I keep messing you guys around. I want to see if I can share the wallet here. Right, I think I'm almost there. Right, I'm just going to set it up in the background. So this is the Monte Carlo wallet. So remember, we started with $1,000 US. Actually, wasn't 1,000. It was 992, because it was all the ETH fees kind of reduced that. So when you're moving money around, if you're new to crypto, you have to remember a couple of things. One is the fees. So each network charges different fees, and it charges it in the currency. Let's call it a currency, but really it's the cryptocurrency that it's based on. So, for example, Ethereum is a country, if you like, but the money they use there is Ether. So to move around, you have to spend Ether to move your transactions around. Okay. I'm just getting to the wallet just to save me doxing myself and having to re-edit every time. I've actually did a good job of putting it together. Well, I say I did a good job. I'm having trouble finding it. Here it is. Here's the 8th of December. Okay. Okay. Almost there, guys. I just want to give you another view. I've got one view of the wallet, but I actually want to show you the coins. And I want your input, you know, because, yeah, it is my money. But if you've got any ideas, we've got a long way to go. We're doing well, but we've got a long way to go. So I'm just opening up the second page. I want to actually show you the crypto that I'm holding. It just takes me a moment to do this so I don't dox myself. I had done this earlier, but I saved it in the wrong place, and I don't quite know exactly where it is. Oh man, I've just deleted what I was could have saved. Okay, there we go. Boop. Okay, almost there. Yeah, there it is. Boop. Right, cool. We're there. Sorry, I thought I already had that set up. It looks like it saved it in a completely different document. Okay, and I'm going to share that right now. Just give me a shake of a lamb's tail. Okay, share. Right, here we go. Boop. So I'm just sharing okay. Trying to get this large. Doesn't look like it's doing it. Okay. If it doesn't work, I'll just show you the wallet. It's less work. I'm just trying not to dox my wallet. Okay. Almost there. It is worth the wait, guys. I will be there in a second. I'm just now seeing if Streamlabs will share a... oh, yeah, it does. Shares the window. There we go. This is what we're after. Okay, guys. Right, there we go. Much better, much better. So, Monte Carlo wallet. Here we are. So, the totals, the scores on the doors, 4,092. We've broken a 4x. And that's because the coins that I've invested in are moving in the right direction. So on this wallet, I have a 4x. On my main bag, I just rechecked. I bought at a high. Okay. In fact, let me show you the coins I've got for those of you that are new to crypto. Right, here we go. The Monte Carlo wallet. So here we are. We've got a 4x. Super excited. I've never had a 4x in crypto. So here we go. So we've, and I know this is just the start. That's why I'm really super excited. So this is a Rabby wallet. I do like Rabby. It's easy to move around. It's easy to swap between networks. So I've got two networks here. For those of you new to crypto, a blockchain or a network is like a country. It's also called a layer 1. And that country has its own currency. And then in amongst that country, people use lots of, hey guys, okay. Yeah, cheers. Yeah. All right. Okay. Sorry. Quick shout out to the chat before I finish this. Oh, yes. Thanks, man. Portugal great there last year, South Coast and up to Lisbon. Awesome. Great. That's good to know. I'm definitely going to visit at some stage, especially, and I'm going to come to the juicy, powerful information at the end when you take that into consideration. All right. But okay. So, right. So here's the point. Let's see. Okay, so I'm at a 4x now. What we can see here on Rabby, the reason I like Rabby is you come here and this is post chain. So if I clicked on that, it would just give me the coins I have on post chain. If I click on here on the Ethereum, it would give me the Ethereum coins. You can see in the top right hand corner the little logo that represents whether it's on a post chain network or Ethereum network. You see at the top, for those of you who are new to crypto, I've actually got 2 different types of hex. The code is actually the same, completely the same. I love both types for different reasons, and we'll talk about that on another show. But this is hex on Ethereum. This is the premier hex. This was the first hex ever created, and it's also the premier certificate of deposit in the world. So it was the first ever crypto certificate of deposit. Sorry, let's get that clear. It was the first ever crypto certificate of deposit in the world. Okay, it was created by Richard Hart, and then from that, because it got too expensive paying gas fees in Ethereum, it became so expensive that it ceased to work effectively or super effectively as a certificate of deposit. It still works, but you just have to time it right. And then he created post chain so that he could have hex there, and you can see here this is hex on post chain, and they have completely different prices. They're the same product, but they have different prices. Currently, hex on post chain is approximately, in fact, I'll probably work it out, is approximately 5 times. Actually, it's changed. It keeps changing. It was 5.2 times more expensive. So let me, I'll actually work it out. And I don't do maths on stream as my streaming colleagues advise, but what I'm going to do is I am going to use my calculator on stream. I can at least do that because I can't, as my granny said, I can't walk and chew gum at the same time. Okay, and I can't even do it. 302 divided by 65, 4.64. So that ratio is coming down. So that means pulse hex is getting stronger. Oh no, actually no, it doesn't. It means the Ethereum hex is getting stronger. I was hoping that someone would have pumped the crap out of pulse hex, got it back up to 10 to 1, and then I was going to put in a liquidity position. And as it dropped down, the E hex that I've got, because I've skewed, I have much more E hex than P hex. So, and as it came down, that E hex would get slid across into P hex. So it kind of almost get bought up, but you're getting fees as it does that. And also you get a really good rate because you basically put that position in at 10 to 1. And if it goes back to something like 3 to 1, then all that E hex has been gobbled up and changed into P hex. That isn't quite happening. It looks like E hex is getting strength at the moment. Okay, so anyway, just for that's a little bit more advanced. If you're brand new to crypto, just come in and enjoy the ride and look at the numbers and ask any questions in the chat. And if you come after the stream, do throw it in the replay in the comments. I do circle back around and say hey. And then I've got a little bit of ETH. This is so that I can move my hex on Ethereum around because I need to have a little bit of ETH to pay for movements of hex. So if I want to move that E hex into the post chain country or network, then I need to pay that. And then this is just a warning for you guys when you set up when you get set up your wallets, if you haven't already got them, occasionally you'll find low value coins, very, very low value, sprinkled into the bottom of the wallet, and that is called dusting. And that is what it was a marketing tactic initially, but also it's a scam tactic. So do not click on this and follow any of the links there unless you know what you're doing. Okay. Yeah, thanks. I super agree with RGS. Great to see Hex on ETH pumping a bit. I agree there. As I said, one of my tactics, but this is mine and it's not advice. This is super risky. I don't even know if it works. Is to wait for hopefully to swing the other way. I'm thinking Richard is going to pump. Well, I don't know if you guys heard on one of my other streams. I've got two theories of why EHEX runs first and then PHEX. One is that there's an EHEX whale that just wants to go against the grain and wants to pump EHEX. Okay, and that actually started the rest of the ecosystem pumping, or whether Richard's actually using it like a blue touch paper, you know, so you don't light the firework directly, you light the blue touch paper. It burns better. EHEX is much lighter, moves up and down. The price moves up and down a lot easier, needs a less energy, financial energy to do that. And then that actually sets everything else off. So I'm not sure what's happening. I'm hoping it's the former. Well, I'm not hoping. It doesn't matter. I don't care either way. But if it is the former, I'm expecting a big peak to happen with PHEX. PHEX to get really strong over EHEX. Then I'll put in my liquidity position. And then when the ratio comes back, if it comes back, but I suspect like, which we talk about asymmetric risk. I think there is asymmetric risk to the upside. If it goes ridiculously high, like 10 or 12 to 1, then it's going to come back to, I think 5.2 to 1 is not unreasonable for a mean. I actually, even in my heart of hearts, think 3.2, because although Richard said the market has decided, my personal feeling is the market didn't decide. I think Richard decided. And he holds 95% of the coins. So by him deciding, the rest of the market's got to follow. So I think that the market has decided was a little bit of a cop-out. But at the same time, I also think it could well have been a very intelligent move by Richard to shake out a ton of people, because it almost shook me out. But anyway, I am here and excited and pleased to be here. Thanks a lot, RGS, for all your input. Super awesome to have you in the chat. And Sega wins life. Yeah, I'm okay. My thumbnail sucks, but I'm not putting any energy into it, guys. I already put a ton in, and my main job is a chiropractor. So if you guys want to pick up on my next kind of thoughts and things, or info, or you want to follow the wallet, then do hit the subscribe. Spank the subscribe. Do it gently. Boop the like. Ding the bell to all. And when I run my next stream, I'll throw it up on X, and YouTube should let you know. That's the only places I really do it. And yeah, subscribe to X if you wish. I'm at Cryptopractor H. At Cryptopractor H is my handle on X. And yeah, if you want to shoot me a line there, that would be awesome to hear from you. Right. Okay, we're almost there. So now I would love to have your comments, your thoughts. Now the whole tactics that I'm using currently, I've taken $1,000. 250 of those dollars went into EHEX. 250 went into PHEX. Remember, this is entertainment, so I want to show you. I was thinking of showing you liquidity providing, so we can just match them together on Pulse Chain and see what happens. I've noticed that my EHEX PHEX pool, for those of you who are interested, I might do a video on this, has actually generated 16% over the last. Well, actually, that's 16% APR. I've been running for 9 months. It's about 13% that I've made income. And that's a V2 pool. So you don't get a farm, but you get a percentage of the fees. And it's worked out as 13%, which is not shabby. Because remember, I'm in a liquidity pool. As long as I take it out when the ratios have returned to where I initially put them in, then I have no impermanent loss. So that's what happened. It came back to the ratio 5.2 to 1. And I had a look to see what I'd made. And actually, I'd made 16% on my coins. Okay, that's not USD. That's on coins. All right. And obviously, as the coins go up, and what you're trying to do is make sure that you avoid impermanent loss, or that the losses due to impermanent loss are not greater than the earnings that you make in that pool. So that pool is actually generating about 13% in real terms. That's what it generated for me. For you, you need to do the maths and stuff, and I'll show you how to do that when I do put that stream. I did record it, but I just need some time to put it together. Right, okay. And then $500 went into PLS, and that's purely at this stage, it's just to kind of ride the wave and see what we can make. I am going to pull out a bear bag. This is a long play. Okay, so obviously we've made a 4x. So that is 2 doubles. So I've doubled and I've doubled. That's made me to the 4x. That's got me to the 4x. But remember, to just buy a car parking space, I need 320, I think it was $1,000. Okay, now in order to do that, I need at least 6 more doubles. Okay, so that would take me to 256x. I need around about 319x, so it's probably 6.2 doubles or something. So in other words, let's say it's $316,000. I brought mine to a 4x. I've still got another 312x to do, and what that is about 6.5 doubles. All right, and if I want to get my 2-bedroomed apartment in Monaco, that is going to be 9 more doubles from where I am now. Okay, or well, obviously if it's just over 2 million, then it's it's a bunch of x's. So it's 2,000. There's 2,000 x's. Okay, or 2,000 plus, or about 2,000. If it's 200, if it's 2.3 million, then it's 2,300. Okay, let's be a bit more accurate. Okay, guys, so that's where I need to go. Now, just to finish off, let's talk about the juicy news, or the powerful news, I should say. The powerful point on whether you live in Monaco or not. Now, not necessarily moving to Monaco, but you need to obviously find out what their tax laws is. If you made your money outside of Monaco, maybe it's not taxable. Maybe it's taxable where you were when you made it. Like, so if you make it in the same year, maybe when you move to Monaco. So that's something you'll need to look into. Now, I know for sure in Puerto Rico, you need to make the money while you're in Puerto Rico. So a lot of my colleagues in the Hex community have moved to Puerto Rico, and funnily enough, they moved there in during the bear cycle. Okay, so in other words, where their crypto value was low. And then again, I'm not a tax advisor. You need to work out what the laws are in the country that you're going to, whether they take into account that you bought that outside of the country, or whether they just take into account the earnings increase while you're there during the bull market. Okay, so the whole point is there is an element of timing that's crucially important. So you need to do plenty of research before, obviously legalities, the tax, the financial implications, and then the other things. Do you even want to live there? Yeah, so obviously that needs to be researched. Because that, at the end of the day, we're working towards the situation where we can work if we choose or if we don't choose. That's what my thing is. I always hope that, God willing, that I've got the strength to work and add value to the world. Right, guys. And on that note, we'll just wind up. I'll try and do a stream whenever I can. I'm pretty stretched at the moment, but do subscribe. You just follow me on X, and then when I do go to drop some info, I will obviously make sure you guys are as informed as I can. Anyway, everyone, have a great bull run. Enjoy it. Fire some comments my way. I wish all the very best for you and your backs. Dr. H, out.
Bitcoin dropped 75, Ethereum dropped. Bitcoin dropped 75, Ethereum dropped 85, Hex dropped 95. Which one do you think is going to get up the hardest?